This is the story behind the songs for Volume 3 of the 501 Sessions. The third volume of the 501 Sessions has 3 of my favorite songs across the last 2 years. Where We Go,
Who knows where we may go? Only we'll ever know.
Talked to the Earth Last Night,
She won't admit how bad she's hurting. She wants us to see her as brand new.
and Fading Slowly.
But I wish you cared enough to know me.
The theme around these 3 songs is all about friendship. I am a big friend person, and by that I mean I hold a lot of value on the friendships, both current and past, in my life. I am very much an extrovert in that way, and I very much enjoy spending quality time with all of the people in my life. And there's so many different aspects to friendship, and being in your early mid-20s, things change a lot with relationships and with friendships over those years, especially. It's different with your high school friends once you head off to college. It's different with your college friends when you don't live down the street from each other anymore. And I think that the friendships that we make, especially at a younger age, are so pivotal to the way that our life goes and the way that our future relationships form. Where We Go really, to me, just kind of summarizes all of the friendships that I had in high school. So it was a very common theme to go grab dinner, go grab ice cream, drive around the town, making some of the same different turns. It just was aimless. We listened to music. I had some of my favorite conversations just driving around. There's just something so special about that one-on-one bond, that confessional sort of conversation that just really happens. The level of bond that I built with so many of my friends, I owe to those sorts of situations. And I know that those come in many different shapes and forms, but for me it was always those later conversations in a car. It's intimate, connecting, but in its own special kind of way. And the song was my first real branch into more of a folky direction, and it was so fun to write and so fun to bring to life. It is probably forever one of my favorites. On the other side of that coin, you have Fading Slowly, which is very much about losing touch with those friends that you had at a younger age. Like friends I had in high school that I never really saw throughout college when we were back in town, and just kind of things that slowly faded out. I think that it's always interesting to see what relationships withstand the test of time and those that don't. I think sometimes those are surprising, sometimes it just makes sense. I very much think that I'm someone that cares very, very much. And not to say that other people don't, but I think that I wear that on my sleeve a lot more than others do. And so Fading Slowly really captures this idea of making the effort to see someone and just like watching it slowly trickle over time, where it's not really like I went my way, you went yours, and we both just kind of carried on in our lives without really putting enough energy in to sustain the relationship that we once had. While you can't maintain consistent relationships with everyone in your life, there is some sort of grief to losing someone that previously played a role in your life, and just kind of watching them from afar on social media and having that be your main source of engagement with them and your main source of keeping up with what their life looks like now. It's just a really interesting experience. Like I'm in that early chapter of when you first really start to, I feel like, experience a lot of that. And it's a weird thing. It's a hard thing. And writing that song, this was one of the last ones that I put on the album. It just kind of poured out of me. I was having conversations, trying to check in with people I hadn't heard from in a while, and the conversations become more and more surface level because you're just getting big life update details. And so it was just very, very much like, this is just where things are. Nothing against you, nothing against me, just this is the way that the cards are now dealt. And then dropping to Talk to the Earth Last Night, which was my first fully self-produced song since 2022. This song is very much a darker toned track for a reason. I like to think of this song as a reminder to check on the people in your life and make sure everyone's doing okay, because Talk to the Earth Last Night is very much like, I feel like I'm seeing that something's not going right for you, or you're not doing as well as maybe you usually are, like something seems off, but you keep telling me that everything's fine. And then slowly but surely you watch it drain on this person. And I know that human nature doesn't allow us to often get as vulnerable as we maybe need to at different times in our lives. After we have those heavier conversations, or allow ourselves to just air that off our chest, like even if the problem isn't solved, it suddenly gets so much lighter. So with Talked to the Earth Last Night, I really wanted it to lead with this idea that there's often something, whether it be something very minute or something very heavy and life-changing, there's usually something that someone is going through that we don't know about. And so check in with the people in your life and make sure everyone is doing okay. And if not, be the friend that you would want if you were in that situation. If you're checking on someone, it means that you were thinking about them. And I think everybody always wants to be thought about. And also on the flip side, don't hesitate to reach out and have that conversation if that's what you really need, because the people in your life that care about you, that you care about, odds are they're going to care enough to want to take that on. And it's always a good friendly reminder that if someone were to do that to you and share their problems and their struggles with you, you wouldn't feel like it's a burden. So why do you feel like it's a burden when you're doing it to someone else? I can't promise that I fully practice what I preach, but I do preach that. So ultimately, these songs just about how valuable and how important friendships are in our lives. But I think that friendships are often underappreciated for the role that they play in our lives and in our development and growth as human beings. So if you haven't already, make sure to go check out Volume 3 of the 501 Sessions.